So, Warwick Mayor Frank Picozzi joining me now to talk about Gaspee Days. It's lovely that we're talking about this parade because obviously, as we know, last year it was canceled. But you today announced on Facebook that you are joining the Gaspee committee to try and raise money for the parade, $35,000, which is actually less. It's normally like $50,000 that it costs to put this thing on. People seem surprised to hear how much this parade costs.
I was actually surprised too. I never knew that the people that were in the parade were paid. I mean, not the local high school bands, but the more elaborate ones like the Clydesdale horses, things like that. They cost $5,000 just there. I was really surprised. And they usually raise money by the other events in Gaspee Days, especially the Arts and Crafts Fair. But because of COVID, they can't do it now. They're waiting until maybe the restrictions lighten up a little bit, and they're doing it at the end of the summer. So they don't have the money they usually have. They came to me last week for the city normally contributes a grant amount, and we gave them that. And then they told me just how much you need them money they have. They don't have, and I just decided to join up, and I have a big social media reach, and I figured I'd help them get the word out.
I saw a lot of questions on the social media post, and I've even heard from some of my own colleagues who live in Warwick saying, well, what about the money from last year's parade? You didn't have it. Can't it just be carried over?
No, they didn't have the money from last year. They didn't raise any because they didn't have any of the events. That's how they fund it. The city didn't give them a grant. They didn't get a grant from anywhere else they got because there was no parade. And without the Gaspee Days, I mean, the Gaspee Days are a series of events, especially the Arts and Crafts Fair raises a lot of money. So there was no money raised last year, so they don't have any, there was nothing to carry over.
And they were probably waiting this year to try and figure out if they could have the parade at all.
Exactly. And like I said, they have to do events at the end, so they don't have the money up front. And they need it up front. Some of these acts, well, I don't know if you call them acts, but some of the participants come from out of state. They come from, Washington, New Hampshire. You have to pay them. They come, they have to eat, they have to stay, and then they do the parade circuit. So because of COVID, I mean, I think we need this parade more than ever. It's a tradition work. It's part of the culture. And just everyone needs something after a year of the pandemic. And that's why we're going to help. We're going to raise as much money as we can, make it as high a quality parade as we can, and just try to get on with our lives.
I've seen the Warwick community come together for so many different causes, and they come out hard when they come out to support something. Do you expect to see that in this case?
I sure do. I know they'll come through. Sometimes they need a little urging, which is what I'm doing, but they do come through. And this parade means a lot to Warwick. I mean, the people living in that end of the city, actually, this is like Christmas to them. And I know they're going to come. I know they're going to come through, and I know we're going to have a great parade.
Anything else you wanted to get out there to the people of Warwick tonight?
Yes, please donate. And not just Warwick. I mean, we invite people from all over the state. I mean, if you've ever enjoyed the Gaspee Parade, please donate. I mean, $5, $10, whatever you can do. It's all going to add up. I'd really like to see the Clydesdales myself, because I get to march in this parade, and I don't get paid for it.
All right. Warwick Mayor Frank Picozzi, thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll be seeing you at this year's Gaspee Days Parade.
Thank you very much, Hannah.